Hi everybody, welcome to SA Rugby. We've got a full slate of rugby games this weekend, Mark. The Autumn Nations Cup, which is a reiteration of the Six Nations involving Georgia and Fiji. I'm convinced that they're invited into the tournament so that Italy could finally win a game or two, but you're not convinced that that's going to happen?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
I think they're in the competition to elevate Italy's status.
Well, this is... Okay, well, let's run through... We got Wales playing Ireland, which is, on paper not a bad game, but Ireland favoured. You tell me what's going to happen, and I can advise people.
Imagine being an Italian player. No. Every week you train, you're taking a beating on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Sergio Parisi.
It's like going into a boxing match. You learn to train to hold your hands up with the head guard in, and then you get into the boxing ring and they tie your hands to your side.
Sergio Parisi, one of the great number 8s, played over 140 tests, 142. I think he lost 110, okay? And he was one of the greats. He played for Stade, he played for Toulon. If he had played for any other team, if he had played for the All Blacks, he'd be winning like 130 out of the 142. Yeah. But to be a player of that quality, to go there every weekend, and you just know the best we're going to get out of here is potentially 20 points.
You know what impresses me about him is his commitment.
Yeah. And listen, if he was surrounded by 14 other players as of his class, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right. So 8 nations.
8 nations. We got Wales up against Ireland in Dublin.
Wales. Alan Wynne-Jones, 150th test.
That's amazing.
A magnificent achievement for a lock forward. We raved about McCaw, 148 as a flanker, but for a lock. And the one thing about McCaw, 148, but in a magnificent All Black side where he lost just 15 tests. Alan Wynne-Jones, 150 in a Welsh side that hasn't always been magnificent. So to kind of make that that commitment, that effort, and to have that longevity, and he'll be here next year with the Lions. That will be his swan song. So
his swan song? You mean a swan song?
Well, I say swan, you say swan, eh?
And I say swing.
I hear a lot of stuff coming out of your mouth. Where are we going with this Wales Ireland bet?
Definitely going to Ireland at home.
Well, thanks for the obvious. By what? By what?
By 10.
Jamesy?
Oh, you're right there, James.
I'm absorbing. No, certainly Ireland.
Do you think it's because of home ground advantage?
No, I think Wales have lost their way, especially going to losing at home to Scotland. Yeah. And need I say any more?
Yeah. I did call that, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did call it. So, what do you say? How many points, James?
I'd say 15.
15. Wales, Ireland are favoured by 9.5. So well done, guys. So I'm going to say Ireland by 12, 15.
Okay.
Then we have Scotland playing Italy. Scotland are at home. No?
Italy at home, eh?
Italy at home, yeah.
Yeah, Scotland by 12.
Jamesy?
Sure. I don't know. I think I'd go 20.
Yeah, Scotland are certainly on a bit of an upside.
They've shown a gradual improvement every game, as compared to Italy, who are the limp dog at the moment.
Yeah, limp dog.
So, I'd say I'd go with 20.
Yeah, I would go 15, and the bookies have them at 10.5. So I think there's great value to have on Scotland at minus 10.5. And then we have England versus Georgia.
Georgia!
England by 40.
England by 40.
Yeah. A 50-11 game. So that's 39. Okay. 51-11.
Well, funny you say that, because the spread's 38.5.
Ah.
You know your rugby, Mark. I'll
Thanks.
tell you that. Yep. Well, James, what do you think?
Yeah, the same dart at the same time. No, definitely. You look at, obviously, Six Nations winners again. It's a 40 plus.
Tough to get up for this. So who do you pick and what?
Yeah.
Who cares about this game? That's the reality.
There'll be some good scrums in that game.
That's about it. I don't enjoy scrumming.
Where it's Georgia on rollerblades going backwards a long time.
Now they can scrum. That's just the problem is when the ball goes to 9.
10, 11, 12, 13 or 14. Yeah.
When the ball goes to
You know
line, or the ball leaves Hookers hand to go into the line.
9 doesn't even know who plays 10 because he has to play it back to 8.
This is one I would stay.
Tell Georgia I love her. Tell Georgia I need her.
Don't give up your day job, bud. It's a game I'd stay away from. 38 and a half points. That's 6 converted tries. Hoping that Georgia doesn't score, which they probably won't. It's just a horrible game. I wouldn't bet on it, folks. Don't bet on this one. Let's get into the Super Rugby Unlocked.
There's one game you've missed there. Sunday's game, France against Fiji.
Really?
Yep. And
Follow
the interesting thing there is that Vern Cotter is now coach of Fiji. And he coached Clermont for 10 years, and he coached Montpellier for 2 years.
Yeah.
And there's a few Fijians playing for France.
Yeah.
And they've picked the strongest possible Fijian squad that they could pick.
What is it? Is that supposed to scare somebody?
It's supposed to scare the bookies. I don't know what the odds are, but I would say if they go in anything beyond 10 points, I would be quite surprised. I think France will still win at home, but it could be a very entertaining game. And if anyone knows the French mentality, it's Vern Cotter. He's coached there for more than a decade.
Well, clearly, if he's got insight into the way they think, certainly the way they play.
I can't find any betting on Betway, unfortunately, on that game.
Okay, maybe it's because it's Sunday and the betting will come in tomorrow.
Maybe.
But I think that's the game to watch this weekend. It's going to be, I think it'll be a hell of an entertaining match. France is playing some really cool football. So they've got some exciting talent.
Football, so are they playing football or are they playing rugby?
Rugby, James. Rugby.
Footy,
mate.
Terrible having 2 kids on the show. The French notorious for not getting up for certain occasions.
Yeah.
This may well be one of them.
Yeah.
But it may also play into the hands of the Fijians play an expansive game.
Well, look, the Fijians could, be disruptive. And once you've got a team that's disruptive because they know they're on the back foot or they're going to be losing, are the French going to be able to get that ascendancy, that ball on the front foot, that quick recycled ball? Maybe it could even, like as you say, Mark, maybe a closer scoring encounter than anticipated if you look at it, just the 2 teams on paper.
Yeah, to the people out there, all I'm saying is if you go onto the internet and...
In fairness to Betway, there's no odds out on this game for anybody, even on Flash Score.
Okay, so. and you see the score, don't be surprised if it's close, given the context. And I think what you said, Kev, I've rarely seen a French team, no matter how good they are, pump a second-tier side. They tend to go out there and just get the win and move on. Where South Africa or in New Zealand or in England will put 60, 70 past the team that's inferior. They win 38, 31 or something. And then the next week they'll go beat one of those teams, those top 3 teams. So I think the mentality of the French side will also be a factor. But it will be very interesting, I said earlier, just to see how they cope with a coach who had huge success with Clermont and Montpellier, to see how they cope with someone who had such an intricate knowledge of their game.
Well, it's been such a difficult year with COVID as well. Just spare a thought for all these club sides in Europe with their players playing against Fiji and Georgia, and in relatively meaningless games. And the Fijians are known for hard tackles and
physicality
and putting people out for the season.
Yeah.
So spare a thought for all the players playing against them and their club sides that would like them to return in the health that they left.
And whenever Fiji plays in France,
Yeah.
50% of that side is playing for a club contract
Yeah.
to relocate there. So more incentive for the Fijians than for the French.
Yeah. Good point.
Well, in terms of the Fijians' physicality, I hope we don't see as many cards as we saw against the All Blacks in Australia. I thought it was like watching a poker game.
Well, they should just learn how to tackle it.
Jeez, that was just beyond bizarre.
Okay, let's get on to soup. Sorry about missing that one out, Mark. But
No problem.
Griquas are playing
Sharks.
Sharks.
Yeah. Sharks to win comfortably. I think it's in Kimberley. Sharks to win by 15. James, are you still here?
Hello, Mark. Nice to see you again. Yeah, no, Sharks. Sharks for me.
Really? You're out on a limb there, James. You want to give me a...
I'm going to go Sharkies by 20 plus.
Okay. Bookies have them by have 18.5 as a spread. I'd have to say that the Sharks are good enough to beat them by that spread.
Yeah, it really disrupted. Stormers went there and won 39-6. So they had one decent game in them. That was the match they beat the Pumas, which surprised me. Pumas had one decent game, and it was one they ran. The Stormers close. Griquas went to Joburg and nearly took 60. So, yeah, I think the Sharks will take comfort from the way they won against the Pumas, and then the way they ground out a win against the Cheetahs last weekend.
Yeah. So I'd say 20 points plus there. Stormers at home, pick of the week. Stormers at home against the Cheetahs.
I'd like to pull the joker, and I think the expansive type of rugby that the Cheetahs are playing, the fluidity, the continuity, and the ability to score tries. If you look at the Stormers' performances, there's just no rhythm, no fluidity. They're one-dimensional. They rely on the scrum. If they get neutralised at the scrum, they've got very, very little to offer other than that platform to score from. So you know what? I want to draw the wild card and go for the Cheetahs.
Thank God you didn't say Stormers.
Just after all that.
So what you say the Cheetahs, James?
I think so. I'd like to go for them. Yes, absolutely. I think they've shown some really good, entertaining running rugby. Used the width of the field well. They've kicked well. They've got experience in Pienaar.
He's not playing.
He's still on injured.
He's staying playing.
Stands back, yeah.
Yeah, staying back. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I'd like to go with this for no other reasons other than Cheetahs, because I like a cheetah.
Yeah. No, who doesn't like a cheetah?
No.
Well, the All Blacks don't win in Brisbane, and the Cheetahs don't win in Newlands. It's quite a simple thing. So this disrupted, disgruntled, stuttering Stormers side will win by 6 to 8 points.
Okay, that's...
Yeah, I'm going to have to go Stormers as well, depending on how the negotiations...
Dobbo, I'm calling you.
Depending on it depends on how much of a distraction this whole week, this negotiations or supposed negotiations go. With the players and Dobson involved, and I've heard that Dobbo is doing more than just coaching, marketing, management, doing everything.
Doing the books apparently as well.
Well, you can just imagine that it's a massive distraction. When he should be, just like you say, staying in his lane, focusing on coaching. And I just think there's a lot.
And Kevin, that can also have an effect on how the team prepares themselves as well.
Of course.
If the coach's eyes off the ball and he's not really into it and he's distracted,
I don't. You know what it seems to me, James,
like
missing.
A bit of a spillover.
You're right, and what's missing to me on the field is leadership. I don't see any galvanizing leadership on that team.
No, I also, it's again debatable, but the Stormers, I don't know, they almost just they don't have that desire almost.
Disinterested is the word you're looking for.
And to me, in my opinion, again, I'm entitled to my opinion, they look a little bit unconditioned.
I think they're peaking for Jan.
They must be peaking for something, because they certainly ain't going to...
Maybe Percy's training.
Easy there. Monty's training for the
I
Iron
love
Man.
Monty, that.
He's training for the Iron Man.
Yeah.
Look, I think as we also have an expectation of the Stormers, and rightly so. There's a lot of good players here. They should always be in the top 2 in this country. They should be one of the top kind of 6 franchises in world rugby, regardless of where they play. And just the conveyor belt and the talent that comes from that conveyor belt. When you look at that Cheetah side, they really do punch above their weight. And if Pienaar was playing, I would say the Cheetahs coming with like a 55-45 advantage because of his experience with him and staying there. But without Pienaar there, they are a very different side. And I still think that Stormers scrum is going to be too strong. There's a lot of heat being put on the Stormers at the moment, and a home game, it's going to be ugly. It's not going to be a pretty game. I still think they'll be too strong and they'll get the win. And then they've also only still just had the one defeat, in the competition. So they won't win this Super Rugby Unlocked because of the structure. That will go to the Bulls. But they'll be pushing hard to kind of be competitive with the Bulls in the second part of the competition. Still think the Bulls are in a class of their own at the moment, but Stormers will be too strong.
Well, look at
Take that wild card and put it away.
If you go and look how they got out of a sticky situation against, I think what is it, the Greek was Pumas, where they got that scrum penalty, kick to the line, that drive and that try. That's not always going to happen.
No,
it's not always going to happen.
And well, they should have lost that game.
And if you even go look at the standard of the Stormers backline play last week, was non-existent.
For a team that's non-existent, they still got 39 points.
Yeah, no, but
you know what I'm saying.
I suppose
It's just how bad the Greek was.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they say, everyone's got an opinion, like everyone's got an arsehole.
Yeah.
No. But listen, I'd like to see the Cheetahs win. Really.
Okay.
Well,
why not?
What are the bookies saying there, Kevin?
-5.5 to the Stormers. So again, I think that there's enough value in the Stormers there.
And then
the Lions.
The Lions against the Pumas. Where are they playing? Ellis Park, huh?
I don't know. Let me see.
All right. If it's at Ellis Park, the Lions to win by 15 points plus.
15. Let me calm down, man.
It is at Ellis Park. I've just
Ace
has given us the nod from behind the camera.
There we go.
Yeah, it's at Ellis Park.
15 plus to the Lions.
Mackenzie?
Yeah, I wouldn't give the Lions more than 15 points.
Yeah, they're favourite on by the bookies, with the bookies at 19.5. It's a big ask, eh?
Yeah.
I would tend to take the plus 19.5 with the Pumas on that.
The thing though, when playing at Ellis Park, and we've seen when they play teams like that, it's normally a 55-35 kind of game. 50-19. There's big scores from both sides. So I think that's where the bookies are going to, that closer to the 20 than the 10 mark. Is the Lions, like they did against Greco, is they tend to open it up, score a lot of points, concede a lot of points, and it just becomes a free-for-all. So I think it'll be a very high-scoring game.
Interesting.
Who doesn't like a free-for-all?
Yeah. So comfortable to the Lions.
Like 19.5, I'm like,
is that where the stringer game involved earlier?
Exactly. I'm going to stay away from this one.
And the All Blacks Pumas, what have you got there? I've got the All Blacks by 20.
Oh, we haven't touched on that.
Well, I think the All Blacks have pulled out the 18.
Yeah, they put the Sydney team back.
They got B.A. Baracus and all these. Yeah. So they've got, again, the reporting in the news this weekend was that Foster makes axes all. This was always part of the plan, as far as
they were always, once they secured the Bledisloe with their 43-5 win, they were going to play the guys who hadn't played. They made 10 changes. They should have been good enough to still win that game. They lost it 24-22. They've made another 10 changes. They've reversed it. It's primarily the Sydney side. Mohanga's back at 10, Barrett 15, Geordie Barrett to the wing, Clark back, Smith back at 9. Change the lock, change the prop, change the hooker, change the loose forward. So it's the whole core of the team has changed. The Pumas have played 2 warm-up games against Australia. We didn't even know they'd played them. They'd won them. They've had no other rugby. I think...
How bad is Australia?
Yeah, but any expectation of the All Blacks has to be 20 plus.
Yeah.
They've had 4 Bledisloe Cup games as a warm-up. They've had a whole Super Rugby, Mitre Cup season. To go up and play against that Puma side, if they don't stick them away by 20 plus, even more questions to be asked of this All Black side.
I like how Foster's incorporated, making space for both the Barretts and Moanga, as opposed to at one stage deciding, which was going to be their 10. So he's just got so much player talent in that back line that have ability to run multiple meters, multiple ball carries, and a strong pack of forwards.
I just don't like Foster. He's got good players, but I just don't think he's going to be around after 2 years. So.
No,
you think so?
Well,
no, I hope so. For us, I hope he's still around.
Yeah, I hope he has 10 wins. Well, guys, thanks for coming in, and always a pleasure with the humour and everything.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, James.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you. Good to see you all in good health.
And good luck with your grading.
Thank you.
On Saturday. If you don't know, James is grading for his first stripe on his purple belt.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, best of luck with that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I look forward to it, and I'll go, provide you with feedback next week.
Thanks, as long as it's from the grading.
Thanks, guys.